Big Squeeze, Little Squeeze by Rosa Basrafshan and Stephanie Basrafshan. Did you know sloths give the best hugs ever? Well, that's exactly what Little Sloth thought, but he'd never hugged anyone else before. He loved it when Mummy Sloth held him tight and just knew no one else would do it right. But how did he know if he'd never even tried? Sun started peeking through the tops of the trees. Glistening dew trickled down tips of green leaves. A fine shiny mist scattered with each rustle of breeze, and two sloths lay sleeping so peacefully. Macaws sang their sweet morning song. Dark skies turned light. The day had begun. Little Sloth, it's time to rise. But Little Sloth quickly tightened his eyes. So for the first time in over a week, Mummy Sloth clambered down from her tree. Mummy, don't go. No, you can't leave. Just one big squeeze, little squeeze, please. Oh, I can't. I really am sorry. I don't have time. I'm in a real hurry. As quick as he could, Little Sloth slid down, but by the time his claws touched the ground, his beloved Mummy Sloth was nowhere to be found. Slumped over sadly, Little Sloth walked on. He could no longer hear the macaw's morning song. He wondered if Mummy Sloth knew he had gone, and he wondered who he'd get his morning hug from. Little Sloth, whatever is the matter? I'm sad because Mummy Sloth left in a rush, straight down the tree and off into the bush. She didn't even wait for me to catch up, and she didn't even give me my good morning hug. Oh, Little Sloth, that sounds awfully dreadful, but did you know who really gives the best hugs? Otters. Get off. Gosh, that's not how my mummy hugs me. That hug was far too wet and slippery. I guess you've never hugged an otter, you see. We're wet, and yes, we are quite slippery. Little Sloth stomped on and brushed himself off. He'd never had a hug before that made him so cross. But then Yellow Viper caught Little Sloth's eye and thought at least a hug from her would be dry. Little Sloth, whatever is the matter? Well, I've just got hugged by two very wet otters. Oh, Little Sloth, that sounds awfully dreadful, but did you know who really gives the best hugs? Vipers. Get off. Gosh, that's not how my mummy hugs me. That hug was far too strong and squeezy. I guess you've never hugged a viper, you see. We're strong, and yes, we are quite squeezy. Little Sloth wriggled free and continued crawling on. Slumped over, claws dragging, his limbs trailed long, tired from trying hugs either too wet or strong. Then he dragged himself past Ma Tamarin and her son. Little Sloth, whatever is the matter? I'm too tired from trying, and now I'm just fed up. I tried to hug a viper and I got really stuck. I tried to hug some otters but got soaking wet, and I've still not had my good morning hug yet. Oh, Little Sloth, that sounds awfully dreadful, but did you know who really gives the best hugs? Well, it's not otters, not vipers, not even sloths or tamarins. I think I just hate hugs and never want one again. Leave me alone. Little Sloth was left alone with all his thoughts. He wondered why he didn't like hugs because he kind of did want more. Maybe otters give good hugs when they're nice and dry. Maybe that viper squeezed too big just that one time. Maybe Ma Tamarin hugs her son when he's scared or alone. And maybe I could still get a hug, even when I'm on my own. Big squeeze, little squeeze, and breathe. Little Sloth, there you are. Mummy Sloth, it's you. I've just heard you don't like hugs. Now how can that be true? I do like hugs. They're nice and snug. They give me that warm and cosy feeling. But when I'm mad, I say some things that I really don't believe in. Oh, my love, I know it's tough and new things are hard to deal with. But I think it's time for us to try a big squeeze, little squeeze, please. Best hug ever. The end.